Proximity creates friction and distance creates tension. I'll say it again. Proximity creates friction and distance creates tension. Now, this can be applied in a lot of different settings, but we can think about this in terms of product. We can think about this in terms of relationships. We can think about this in a number of different ways. The way that I'm going to be talking about it right now is about romantic relationships. Proximity creates friction. When you are too close to someone, when you're spending every waking second up underneath them and talking and chatting and learning and doing and hanging out and doing all these things, there's nothing there. You're too close. You're too close. There's no mystery. There's no wonder. There's no space for the mind to be preoccupied with something else, for the mind to be preoccupied with you, with the other person, right? You kind of ruin the mystery. You kind of ruin the not the illusion, but what could be happening. What is this person doing? What are they up to? We don't know. You know what I mean? When you're right there, it ruins the fun. But distance creates tension. Now, distance doesn't just have to be physical. Distance can be emotional as well. You can be right next to someone and there can be a tremendous amount of emotional distance between the two of you. Or you can be far away from someone physically, but there's a large sense of emotional proximity as well. And so you have to think about these things and play around with these things. I've sat next to people, I've been close with people that I have felt completely disconnected to, and I've been very, very far away from people that I have felt extremely connected to, and vice versa. I've been close to people that I felt extremely connected to, and then I've been far away from people that I felt disconnected to. Those usually all fizzle out, you know what I mean? But in the terms of romantic relationship, tension, I feel that tension creates attraction. It creates pull. It creates allure. More so, friction does too as well at some points, but it's like luxury. You know what I mean? It's like luxury. The reason why luxury is attractive, and I made another video about this, about lust, but you respect the things that you lust after. You respect the things that you lust after, right? I've heard people, family will say, oh, I love so-and-so, I love my kid, etc. But then they lust after material items, and the respect seems more, right? The dad who lusts after his new Porsche but says he loves his kid, it's like different. You know what I mean? It's different because there's a certain level of respect. There's a certain level of upholding that he might have for the car, for that material possession, where maybe he won't spend time, you know what I mean? He won't spend that time with his kid, but he'll be thinking about his car, or be thinking about his job, or that status or that promotion or whatever, because he lusts after it. And lust comes with a certain level of respect. But lust only comes through distance, because distance creates tension. We want what we can't have. And so when I think about luxury, right, like people who lust after watches, people who lust after cars, and people who lust after material possessions, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm only pointing out the fact that there's a certain level of respect to it, because there's distance, and that distance creates tension. Once they get close to it and they realize, it's like, oh, it's just, right, the guy who you've been lusting after your fantasy for 10 years, and then you finally get it, and then after a year you're like, whatever. You know what I mean? After a year you're like, whatever. You got it, because you're close to it. You're too close. You lose the respect for it. So that's just today's video. Proximity creates friction and distance creates tension.